Okay, time to put it all together. What is this final project about? All right. Well, the project uses three different kinds of hypothesis tests. Okay, we use the t-test, the two-sample t-test, and this is the t-test underscore IND. And I'm sorry, I'm writing as legibly and quickly as I can. That's supposed to be a D. So the t-test underscore IND is what it uses. It also uses ANOVA, and I have just created a document that goes over how to use ANOVA, and it uses linear regression. All right. So I've included the code on how to run these, right? So like I said, the stats.ttest underscore IND is the version of the two-sample t-test we're going to run. And notice that we need array data, okay? Also in the ANOVA stats.f underscore one way, we also need array data, but we'll have more groups. So there might be 4, 5, 6, 7, or 8 groups in our ANOVA, and we'll have to have array data that will include the numeric variable for each of the groups. And then linear regression. Remember, we start with the dot scatter method, okay? And then array 1 is the x variable, and array 2 is the y variable, all right? So we run a scatter plot first with fit line equals true to see if there's any associations, if it looks like there's some kind of positive or negative correlation. And so that's going to be a quick overview of what we're going to use. Okay. And please remember that we need array data, not tables. We can't do this with table data. We have to create the array. So we're going to have to do a dot column to create the arrays. Okay, and I pointed this out in the ANOVA. If you don't know how to use group stats, definitely take a look in the ANOVA video. How do I do it? I do table, the table name, no quotes. The name of the grouping variable needs to be in quotes. Sorry. And the name of the numeric variable also needs to be in quotes. Okay, so no quotes on the table name, but quotes on the grouping variable and the numeric variable. All right, so again, if this isn't clear enough on how to use it, I do explain it twice in the ANOVA video. All right, and we are importing scipy.stats as stats. Right, so if we do that, then I do have the correct code on the previous slide. All right, so that is correct. Let me jump up there. Sorry, let me jump up there. Right, so the code to run the tests 1, 2, and 3, yes, that's correct if we import scipy.stats as stats. Okay. Now, research questions 1 and 2. Notice that research question 1 says run an ANOVA. Okay, so we know what we're using for research question 1. Now, the notebook, the project doesn't say what we're supposed to use for research question 2. But it turns out it's eerily similar, and that we can use the code blocks given in part 1, right? We're given everything we need to run the ANOVA in part 1. And then in part 2, we can copy paste from part 1 to help us get going on part 2. Not just get going, to help us do all of part 2, okay? So research questions 3 and 4, we've got a similar situation. Research question 3 says, hey, run the two-sample t-test. And again, those are going to be the t-test underscore IND version. And when you're completing research question 4, notice the similarity between the questions in research question 4 and the questions we were asked to answer in research question 3. I'm not telling you exactly what test to run in question 4. I'm just saying, hey, consider how similar they are to research question 3, where we're told to run the two-sample t-tests. Okay, hint, 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 word to the wise. And then research question 5 is a linear regression. So remember, you're going to try a scatter plot, and then you're going to do the linear regression. Remember, it's a table method, dot scatter, and we specify the column names in a table, so dot scatter. But to run the linear regression, we have to create the data into two arrays, one for the x values and one for the y values. Okay, so that's trying to give you some help on exactly how this goes. And let me jump back up to the beginning. The project uses 3 hypothesis tests. It doesn't use 4, it doesn't use 5. If there is a question on the project, it's going to use one of these 3. If you have a question that you think requires something else, well, think about it carefully before you use any test other than one of these 3. Just a real big hint there. And again, I'm going to post this video along with the instructional videos, or a link to the instructional videos for these 3 topics, so that everything is there for you for the project. All right, good luck on the project. I hope you do very well.